Radhe Radhe, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Shri Shri Radha Vinu Bihari Mandir, Shri Shri Gopinath Bhavan, Vrindavan Dham. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Parva Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Patit Pavan Shri Nityanand Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Sachilandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Radha Vinu Bihari Ju ki jai, Radharaman Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. So we will begin today with Mangalacharan, as we do every day. Page 1 in this book, Shri Gauriya Giti Gurucha, Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamanam, Dandeham. Narayan Satatam Prabhadye Namah Vishnupada Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshakarine Namah Vishnupadaya Gaurapresthaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyano Keshavo Yatyanamine Ati Matya Charitrayo Svashriman Chapaline Jiva Dukhe Sadarthayo Shri Rama Premadayine Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Varshabhari Devi Vaikaya Kripabhaye Krishna Sambandha Vidyaya Naine Prabhave Maha Madhurya Jva Premandha Shri Rupan Bhaktida Shri Nuram Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namosute Namaste Gaurani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupan Gambhirubhava Siddhanta Dvanta नमः। नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगम्बराय ते गौराविर्भावभूमेस्त्वं निर्दिष्टा सजनप्रिय वैष्णवः सर्वभौमश्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्तो राधाकान्तो नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जयतां सुरतोपङ्गो मम मन्दमतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदम्बोजो राधामदनमोहनो दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमदं श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवो प्रेष्ठानिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि। श्रीमद्रसरसारम्भी वंशिवत्ततस्थितः हर्षन्वेणुस्वनैर्गोपीर्गोपीनाथश्रियेस्तु नः। वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द। चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मस्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम्। हरिर्नाम हरिर्नाम हरिर्नामैव केवलं गुरो नास्त्येव गतिरन्यथा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Bhagavatamrita Vishaya Vashana Rupa, page 48, starting with Vishaya, Bisaya. Nitai Padakamala Koti Chandra Sushitala, page 58. Pati Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Prem Purushottam Sachinandan Gaura Hari ki jai. It's solid? No, it's okay. Okay.
Krishna
सुनी क्या उनका सुंदर लाला सचिर दुलाला नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में. It's in the near the back of the songbook in the Hindi bhajans section, and it is on page 361, starting with Sundara Lala, Sundara, Lala, Lala.
You don't like it?
It's okay. Shri Sachinanda Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Sundara Lala Shachira Dulala Nachat Shri Hari Kirtan Mein. Sundara Lala Shachira Dulala Nachat Shri Hari Sundara Lala Shachira Dulala Nachat Shri Hari Kirtan Mein. Sundara Lala Shachira Dulala Nachat Shri Hari Kirtan Mein. Nachat Shri Hari Jai Jai Sundar Nanda Kumar. Page 344. 344. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daita.
Page number 341.
Madhava
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Hare Ram Sankirtan ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Hare Om. Hare Krishna. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Ajnanatimiraandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayaniti Namine Nama Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Giri Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandava Pranam thousands of times at the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astottara Shata Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And the same thousands of Dandava Pranam at the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astottara Shata Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupangu Gauriya Guru Varga. And my Dandava Pranam to all Vaishnavas, past, present, and future, including all of those who are present with us today. My Dandava Pranam. So today, for us here in Vrindavan, it is not the same as the Titi, or the time period, for many of you in other parts of the world. You may have seen a post go out from harikatha.com, which initially said that Bhaktivedanta Thakur's disappearance day, Sri Gadadhar Pandit's disappearance day, was on the 20th, which it is for most of the world, but here in Vrindavan it will be observed tomorrow. Which is an interesting point, because according to Hari Bhakti Vilas, one must follow according to the time period or tithi. So, if it is considered an impure time period, meaning that the day has not begun with that time period, wherever one is in the world, then one should not observe that day, that festival, or that appearance or disappearance day at that time, but they should continue from the next day when it begins with that tithi. Even if it's only 1 minute left from when that day started, but the day must begin with that time period. So that is why Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev instituted that we should have calendars according to our local time. In the past, we did not have Facebook and all of these gadgets. Wherever anyone had traveled, they would see time according to the stars and the sun and the moon and everything else like that. Now we have something that we can call universal time, because the moment it happens in India or anywhere else, July 4th or New Year's, when New Year's happens in, where is the first place it would happen? Fiji or New Zealand. Then fireworks go off and the rest of the world sees it all happening at the same time. So this is one idea of time or calculation. And another idea of time or calculation is what is given in Shastra and what our Gurudev, what our Guru Varga have given to us to follow and have shown by their own example. We followed Nishinga Chaturdashi many years in a row in New Braj with our Srila Gurudev, and he would honor according to wherever he was. We all have practical experience of that. We didn't start observing it at midnight or whenever it started in India. We started when we woke up in the morning for Mangalarti, and we read from Srimad Bhagavatam all day, and then when the evening time came, there would be a drama, and there would be a big kirtan, and we would break fast at that time. So according to what our Acharya, who is teaching us by their own example, what they have given us, we follow accordingly. Especially if we want to attain Guru Nishtha. Guru Nishtha means firm conviction in the teachings, the instructions, the observances, the practices of my Gurudev. As my Gurudev has ordered me, and as my Gurudev himself has done, as he has instructed, I will follow. And it is the duty of all other Vaishnavas to increase my faith in the teachings of my Gurudev. This is the function. Unless my Gurudev is bogus, in which case they should break my faith if he's fully bogus. But I do not have that mood toward my Gurudev. We should develop Guru Nishtha. So wherever anyone is in the world, today for many of you may be Bhaktivedanta Thakur's day and Gadadhar Pandit's day. But for us, we will be following starting on the 21st morning here in Vrindavan. So although it is the day for you, there may be other people giving classes online where you can hear about that, but for us tomorrow we will follow and observe. Also for us, and I think the rest of the world, there will be a solar eclipse tomorrow. Solar eclipse, especially at this time, which has a lot of very powerful negative astrological influences, and you can plainly see the effect of it in the world. So many, what do they call it? Planets in retrograde and working in a way that's making a lot of difficulty, a lot of anger, frustration, stirring up emotions and everything else like that. These things do have effect on us. We see it throughout all of our scriptures, all of our shastras. When there is auspicious timings, when there are inauspicious timings, we can see that all through our scriptures. So we've seen it in the past, different constellations. You know, most of us wish upon a shooting star, but according to Shastra, they're considered inauspicious. Like when Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu were born, they were all inauspicious symbols astrologically, which were showing that demons were being born. So now we have so many different inauspicious things, and another inauspicious thing is Surya Grahan, when Rahu is trying to devour the sun. I remember we were here once with our Srila Gurudev in Gopinath Bhavan during Kartik, and Gurudev gave the instruction to all of us. And I'm telling you now because we have to prepare for tomorrow, when this solar eclipse happens. He said at that time it's considered very inauspicious for the world, because the solar eclipse doesn't just happen here, it's happening there, to the sun. Rahu is trying to devour the sun. So because of that solar eclipse, its inauspicious effect, it doesn't matter where we see it in the world. The inauspicious effect, Gurudev explained, can happen to the whole world. And everything that we know could be changed very drastically in a moment. So he told us that at that time we should engage in the yajna for this age, which is Sankirtan Yajna. That is the yajna for this age, Yajna Sankirtana. Chanting the holy names of the Lord, the loud calling out of the holy names of the Lord. He said one should not eat, one should not drink anything, one should not go to the bathroom, one should not sleep, one shouldn't go outside and venture around, one should be in one place, one should be doing Hari Kirtan in the association of Vaishnavas, if possible. But anyhow, doing Hari Kirtan, even one should not let that sun or that eclipse touch us. So at that time, Srila Gurudev, I remember we sat there for 2.5 or 3 hours. No one went anywhere. No one was eating, drinking, going to the bathroom, doing anything else. Even Gurudev was not speaking. He told Krishna Das, stand up and lead kirtan. 1,000 devotees were sitting there. And Krishna Das led the most amazing kirtan that went on for hours. This is the best thing that one can do when these extremely inauspicious things come. It actually makes it auspicious. We should think of it like this. For any demons or anyone who is not favorable to bhakti, it is extremely inauspicious for them. But for Vaishnavas, or those who are aspiring to be Vaishnavas, we take shelter of Harinam Prabhu. We take shelter of the pure devotees of the Lord. And we do activities which are favorable for bhakti in even greater abundance. So for Vaishnavas, it actually becomes auspicious. Just like at the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sachinandan Gaurahari's birth. He was born on a full moon lunar eclipse, which is also considered very inauspicious generally, Chandragrahan. But at that time, all devotees were chanting Hari Bol, and they were taking bath in the Ganga at that time. He was born just near the Ganga. And even the Muslims and atheists were mocking the Vaishnavas. Oh, Hari Bol, like this, jokingly, but still chanting Hari Bol. Shraddhaya Helayava. They were also getting, Shraddhaya Helayava means with faith or even just mockingly, in a joking way. Even in a disregarding way, still they were chanting Hari Bol. Making a joke that, oh, look at all of you chanting Hari Bol. Still some positive effect was there. So everyone was chanting Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol during this great inauspicious time. But because of that, while everyone was completely absorbed in taking shelter of the Lord himself appeared at that time. He says in Srimad Bhagavatam, Madbhakta yatra gayanti tatra tishtami narada. Where my devotees are glorifying my names, forms, qualities, and pastimes, I reside in that place. So at that time when everyone is chanting Hari Bol, the Lord appears. He descends in the form of His holy name. All of His Shaktis are present there. Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti. All of His Shaktis are present. So wherever we are, whoever we are, however we are, at that time when that eclipse is taking place, I know some people say only when it's touching you directly, but Gurudev said it affects the whole world. And the whole world could be destroyed at that time. So if that does happen to take place, we would want to be, even if you're on the other side of the world and you don't see it, still it will affect the world. So at that time when the eclipse is affecting the world, we should be taking shelter of Harinam. And when the eclipse is not affecting the world, we should be taking shelter of Harinam. You know that bhajan, Manabol, Haribol? In every situation, at any time, in every place, always chant the holy names. Always chant the holy names. But especially at those times, to be completely focused. Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam, tyajantyante kalevaram, tam tamevaiti konteya sadattat bhava bhavitaha. Whatever state of mind, whatever state of being, whatever state of consciousness one is in, when they leave this body, that state they will surely attain to. Speaking of which, this morning I opened up my Facebook. It is a medium of communication for me and also for preaching. As you can tell, we're doing these classes via Facebook. One can use it for good, one can use it for negative, but I opened up the page and one devotee who also went to Gurukul, who was born in a family of devotees, who had had health problems for many years, had a severe seizure and has passed away. Her name was Dharma Powell. She lived in England. And so, although she has already passed, still her soul is there. She was born and raised in a family of devotees. She was quite young, about 37 years old. And she also has a son, which she always called Little Man, or Little Man. So I would just appreciate if we can all just say a prayer for her, on her behalf, for her benefit. Whatever state of consciousness she may have been in, we don't know. but the nature of her soul is that she's an eternal servant of Krishna, Nitya Krishna Das. So we can pray for her eternal benefit, that whatever bhakti sukriti she may have made, whatever harinam she may have chanted, whatever association with Vaishnavas, whatever endeavor she had made in bhakti, that may Sri Guru, may Vaishnavas, may Krishna be merciful and carry her to a better place, give her association of pure devotees, and help her to become truly happy, not only now but forever, into perfection. So if you can all pray with me for her benefit, it would be very appreciated. So coming back to the point, many of you are following today Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur's day, disappearance day, and Gadadhar Pandit's disappearance day. So I will speak on them tomorrow, which will be your morning or whatever time, wherever you are. But today I will continue with going beyond Vaikuntha. But since today you are following them, I will just say, Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur ki jai, Tadiya Tirabha Maha Mahotsava ki jai, Shri Gadadhar Pandit ki jai, Tadiya Tirabha Maha Mahotsava ki jai. So we are continuing with Going Beyond Vaikuntha. This book was so instrumental in bringing so many devotees to take shelter of Srila Gurudev, because it is so fundamental, so essential, and full of so many beautiful truths and beautiful rasas, beautiful pastimes. So Srila Gurudev's commentary in this book is so beautiful, and it is a commentary on Sri Sanatan Goswami's Brihad Bhagavatamrita, especially the section describing the transition of Gopkumar as he's moving forward, progressing on the path of bhakti toward his own internal, essential, inherent relationship with Krishna in perfection as a cowherd boy. But he's moving through so many different forms, through so many different prakoshts, through so many different levels. First, coming to the point of being the king in Jagannath Puri, then going to be, where did he go from there? He became Indra, then Brahma, I think a Rudra. And then from there he went to Brahmajyoti, and he was there for quite a long time. Then by the power of his mantra, the dim reflection of Vishnu's toe, I remember reading, it captured his mind because of the power of his mantra and pulled him out of that entrapped state where one does not feel themselves any different. One does not realize that they even have an existence. Only by the power of his mantra, it kept him a little bit aware and alert on that platform, and it pulled him out. Then he was able to go to Vaikuntha, and he still wasn't feeling satisfied in general Vaikuntha, means in that realm of Sri Narayan. Narada Muni detected what was going on in his heart, understood that this was not the place for him. He could not speak his heart to anyone because everyone was completely absorbed in that bhav, because that was their perfection. That this is perfection. Why would anyone want anything else? So what can you say to someone who's of that mindset? They'll just cut you off, block you, push you out. They'll think you're crazy. So what can you do? What can you say? So Gopkumar had no one to share his heart with. A few of those Vaikuntha residents understood or had some knowledge of Srimad Narayan's pastimes as Krishna in Braj. But because they are absorbed in Aishwarya Gyan and Aishwarya Prem, knowledge of the Lord's opulence and worshipping Him in that way, they don't have attraction, real attraction, for the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan. So they would think, oh, this is something lesser, but what we have, this is really the best thing ever. And that is the nature of any jiva who has attained perfection in their relationship with their own particular Ishtadev, that they find this is perfect. Even the mosquitoes of Vrindavan, who are eternally like that, will find that my relationship with Krishna, this is perfection. The cows, they feel this is perfection. The trees, everything, they feel this is perfection. For them it is. But for Gopkumar, being in Vaikuntha, because the internal nature of his Swarup was that he is a cowherd boyfriend of Krishna in Vrindavan, he could not find his satisfaction there in Vaikuntha. Therefore, that inner calling of his heart manifested before himself Sri Guru in the form of Narad Muni. That is the same way that Sri Guru manifests to us when the crying out of our heart, who is searching for perfection, is not feeling that satisfaction. Then Krishna manifests in the form of Sri Guru, Chaitya Guru, Guru of the heart, steps outside in the form of Guru and begins to take an active role. As Paramatma inside, he's taking a passive role, as a witness. But when he steps outside, he takes an active role. We submit, we give permission that I will accept your discipline because I understand and acknowledge that it is for my benefit. So please instruct me, I will do as you say. As Arjuna told Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, now I am a soul surrendered to you, Shishyasteham. Now you order me and I will follow. So when Paramatma steps outside in the form of Sri Guru, then us as jivas who are bound and confused, when we take shelter, we give over our right, in essence. We give over our independence. We don't surrender our intelligence, but we surrender with our intelligence, Srila Prabhupada said. We give our loyalty, and we accept that I cannot free myself by my own accord. I am dependent on your mercy. Because you are free, you can unbind me who am bound. Nityabadha. We are bound since time without beginning in this material world. These souls are locked in all of these material bodies, and especially the material mind, intelligence, and ego, which travels with and encapsulates the soul. Since time without beginning. This is the meaning of Nityabadha. Anadi karma phale tori bhavar navajale tori bare na dekhi upai. Since time without beginning I have been bound and I don't see any way to become free from this. Only by the mercy of Krishna. Only by the mercy of Gurudev, who is Guru Krishna. By their mercy, an awakening of bhakti comes in our heart. And by this, all of our avidya, all of our ignorance is gradually destroyed, and we begin to realize who I am in relationship with Krishna. What is the nature of my service? What is the nature of my relationship, my love and affection? What flow of affection is there between me and my Prananath, my beloved Lord? So, before entering into this book, we will pray in the words of Sri Raghunath Das Goswami to Sri Sanatan Goswami. Mairaga Juga Bhakti Rasam Prayatnar Apayanan Mam Anubhikshamandam Kripambudirya Padadukaduki Sanatanastam Prabhu Ashrayami. Begging in the lotus feet of our Gurudev, the commentator, and Sri Sanatan Goswami, the original compiler of Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita, that may even a particle of their moods, which are present within these pages, manifest within our hearts. I just want to make sure that we're still on. Okay. So yesterday Srila Gurudev was saying how if Krishna gives us two things and we have already acquired so much taste for one thing and the other thing actually tastes bitter to us because we have taste for the one but not really taste for the other, then naturally we will go for the thing which brings us quick, instantaneous enjoyment, because that is what our tendency has been. We don't like to take the other thing. So if Krishna gives us wealth, if Krishna gives us Kanaka, Kamani, and Pratishtha, which are those things we have been seeking forever. Kanak means wealth, Kamani means sense gratification, material enjoyment. Pratishtha means name, fame, position, adoration, power. All of these things that we've been seeking, whether we realize it or not, that is the material condition. We can say, I'm not seeking that. I don't want that. But even you will see, after someone gives class, then they'll go, how was my class? Did you like it? Gurudev spoke this. Always seeking for approval. And if someone says, oh, I didn't like it, you become upset. So still, there's subtle things. The last thing to leave, after everything else leaves, the gross things. Gross lust. Gross desire and manifestation of those desires. The last thing to leave is false ego, that little pride, that pratishtha thing. The first things that have to leave are those urges that one must control. Vacho vegam, the urge to speak anything other than subjects of Krishna Bhakti, or what is favorable for development of Krishna Bhakti. Manasa vegam, the urges of the mind to think about all sorts of other things other than Krishna. Krodha vegam, the urges of anger, to become angry. Usually one is angry due to being falsely maligned, or one becomes angry due to something which is not met within us, some unmet expectation. When something is blocking my kanaka or my kamani or my pratishtha, then we become angry. So anger which is properly used is only when there's severe Vaishnava aparad made or aparad to Krishna, then anger is properly used. This is vacha vegam, manasa krodha vegam. Then jitva vegam, the desire to want to taste everything of this world. This urge needs to be controlled. Oh, 31 flavors, Baskin and Robbins. Oh, I want to taste this, I want to taste that. Oh, so much wonderful flavors, so many sweet things, so many fried things. And then the urge to fill my belly and feel very satisfied. Udara vegam. And then upashta vegam, the urge to satisfy one's sexual desires. These must be controlled if one should be considered qualified to accept shishya, means followers. Macho vegam, manasakrodha vegam, jihva vegam, udarapashta vegam, etan vegan, yo vishaheta dhira. All of these urges, yo vishaheta dhira. Who can tolerate them and who is sober-minded? Sarvam apimam prativim sashishyat. They are qualified to accept followers, disciples, or shishya all over the world. Who cannot control these? They're not qualified to accept followers. And they should not step into the role of being a person who is accepting followers, because what will happen as a result? The uncontrolled urges will manifest in relation to those followers, and then we will see so many difficulties manifest. Who is able to actually control these gross urges? The gross is a manifestation of the subtle. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaja explains. The gross manifests according to the subtle. The subtle is more fine, so what is happening on the inside will manifest on the outside. That means what is inside is even more intense. Now we should control these urges. If one cannot control it, then how uncontrolled is it inside? Who can control all of these urges? Not even great personalities like Vishvamitra. Just hearing the sound of the ankle bells of Menaka, his mind became completely disturbed. She's an apsara from the heavenly planets. And he's such a powerful, powerful yogi and sage. But he could not control. So many great, powerful personalities could not control. So who can control? Only someone who has firmly bound their hearts, their minds and everything to the lotus feet of Krishna. They're able to control these urges, the gross things. If the gross is not controlled, then how can anything else be controlled? The mind must not be controlled. Anything else cannot be controlled. If one is able to control these, the only way they are truly able to control these urges, and I'm using the word control because it says vegam, it means the urge. The urge may come, but no. Vacho vegam. I can control that urge. Why? I fill it with Krishna. I fill everything with Krishna. Then that urge is not expressed. then one can accept shishya, followers. It's very, very important to understand this aspect of bhakti. Who is qualified? One who cannot control is not qualified. In that case, we need to take shelter of Sri Guru, of Sri Vaishnavas, not Sri Vaishnavas, of the Vaishnavas, who are carrying Sri in their heart, Srimati Radhika and Krishna. We take shelter of the Vaishnavas and Sri Guru. Beg them for shelter. Look at my situation. My heart and my mind, everything is full of so many anarthas, lust, anger, greed, madness, envy, pride. All of these things. So Kanaka Kamani and Pratishtha, desire for all of these mundane things. This can only be removed in the association of Vaishnavas, by taking shelter of Sri Guru, who is transcendental and pure. Srila Gurudev said, if we take shelter of anyone who has all of these anarthas, then as we are serving them and remembering them, we will be thinking about their good qualities and their anarthas as well. And those anarthas will be coming to us. And what will be the result? So Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, all of our Shastras have advised us that we should only take shelter of that person who is completely pure, transcendental, devoid of any of these frailties, if we want to actually move forward on the path to perfection. Otherwise, we stand the chance of becoming completely, what is the word? Both of them use different words. One was, it will cause chaos in the life of that follower, in the life of that disciple, and the other said it will cause havoc and utter destruction in the spiritual lives of that person who is taking shelter of someone who cannot maintain even the basic principles of bhakti. So we should hold on tightly to the lotus feet of someone who has actually held on tightly to the lotus feet of Krishna, who is beyond any of these inebrities, if we want to actually be able to move forward properly on the path of bhakti. So now we will enter into this book, Going Beyond Vaikuntha. Right, I was telling how Gurudev was saying, if two ladus have come, one is the one we are accustomed to taking, and the other one is something we're not accustomed to taking. One tastes bitter to us, and the other one tastes sweet and wonderful to us. We will always go after the sweet and wonderful. Only when we take shelter of Sri Guru and we give ourselves in that shelter, I am offering myself to you. Then we can accept the medicine which they are giving, which gradually will turn sweet, and we will realize that this is truly sweet, and that was bitter all along. My mind was confused. Interestingly enough, we will gain taste in Krishna Bhakti, by which the material attraction and whatever we had taste for previously will be considered distasteful, will be considered detestable and bitter. So this understanding and realization will come after having tasted the nectar of Krishna Nam, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's beauty. Then what thing of this material world can attract us? Your lips will curl with distaste, and even the idea of it, you will spit at that thought and keep a very far distance from it. If one is attracted to that, it means they have not taken shelter of Krishna. If they have ruchi for that, they have not acquired ruchi for Krishna. Not really. Not really. As I told yesterday, Gurudev spoke about, you can only fit a sword in one case. If that case only has room for one sword, you can only fit one sword. He said ruchi is not two things. Ruchi is one. You either have taste for Maya or taste for Krishna. You cannot have simultaneous taste for both. What is proof of taste? What is proof of taste? Real taste. Tunde tandavani ratim butanute tundavadi labdhai karna krodha kadambani gatayate karnabude vyaspriham cheta prangana sangini vijayate sarvendriyanam kritim no jane janitakiyadbhiramitai krishneti varnadvayi. How much nectar is within these two syllables? Krishna. Srila Gurudev said, Rup Goswami, We don't even know how many rounds he would chant. Just one Krish or one Ha. And immediately he would be absorbed in Nitya Lila, serving the eternal pastimes of Radha and Krishna. How much nectar is within these two syllables, Krishna? These 2 ears are not enough. They're completely insufficient to drink that nectar. I require millions and millions of ears. This one tongue is completely insufficient to taste that nectar of Krishna's name. As Krishna is dancing on the tongue, I require millions and millions of tongues. How much nectar is there? This is proof of real taste. If I have taste for other things of this world, wanting to taste all of the material pleasures of Kanaka, Kamani and Pratishta, this is proof that I am not tasting Krishna. If I am really tasting Krishna, I will have no attraction to any of these mundane, lower, gross things of this world. It's not possible. It's not possible. So this is something for us to consider deeply. So Gurudeva is talking about this. We will naturally go for that one. So Krishna is very merciful. He says, for my devotee, when I choose to show special mercy, I remove all of his material attachments. And I leave him penniless, like a pauper. Popa. So that he will have nowhere else to go, except to take full shelter of me exclusively. This is what Krishna says. Because a lot of us think we can handle both, but actually we can't. Very easily we can become consumed by excessive money. Mahaprabhu says excessive wealth will make the mind and heart wicked. Because we become the controller. We will control those who have high birth. We will control those who are beautiful. We will control those who are educated. We will control those who have lesser wealth than us. And with this mood of control, being powerful, how can we engage in chanting the holy name of the Lord constantly? Trinadapi sunichena, tarorapi sahishnuna, amanina manadena kirtinya sadahari. How can we be humble enough? How can we have that mood if I'm trying to control and manipulate and exercise my power everywhere? How can I develop the mood of humility which is necessary to take shelter of Harinam Prabhu constantly? It won't be possible. That's why the process of yoga, which is aimed at developing siddhi, power. You know, siddha yoga, which is aimed at developing that. It is an ascending process. By the power of my practice, I will develop so much Shakti. What kind of Shakti? So many different mystic siddhis that come from the practice of yoga. I will become powerful. I will become very great. I will be able to influence people's minds. I will be able to stop people from doing anything. I can adjust them like this and that. Manipulate, power, influence. I will be able to become very small. I can manifest in another location very easily. I can become very heavy. I can reach out and grab anything from any other universe. I have seen this also. I didn't do it, but I've seen it. I've experienced this, how any Siddha Yogi can do such a thing. We've seen it in some people also. You can see they can reach out and grab something through their astral projection. These are yogic siddhis. One can become so light they can walk on water. So many different siddhis come. When we were little, we were warned that we will have to be able to also not become enamored by these mystic siddhis if we want to attain Krishna Bhakti. One time we heard Srila Gurudev tell one katha. This was early on. I may have shared it before, but I'm just going to share it quickly. This was early on, when he first began taking shelter of Harinam Prabhu. Someone in his village was bitten by a snake and they apparently passed away. Somebody said, bring the sadhu, bring him, he's chanting Harinam, he can bring him back. So he came and he said he chanted Harinam in that boy's ear and told him to wake up. And that boy came back to life. And then Gurudev realized afterward, what have I done? What have I done? I have used Radha and Krishna, Harinam Prabhu, in the service of some material thing. For the pleasure of these people to bring this child back to life. I have used Radha and Krishna in that. And he said, I made a vow from that moment that I would never use Harinam Prabhu for any mundane purpose. That only I will serve Harinam Prabhu. So Gurudev said, I've never chanted anything. I serve Harinam Prabhu. This is a very important thing. We can use Harinam Prabhu to power our material desires. That is called Nam Aparad. Harinam Prabhu will power my Kanaka. If I have desire for wealth, I can take shelter of Harinam and chant 3-5 lakhs a day. Very easily money will come. I can take shelter of Harinam and very easily, as the result of my meditation on lust, my lusty desires can be fulfilled. One devotee recently mentioned something to me that they know someone who's chanting something like 1.5 lakhs every day. 1.5 lakhs. But they're also engaging in extramarital affair at the same time. And they were wondering, how is it possible that this person can be engaging in an extramarital affair, it's like a big secret, and they're chanting 1.5 lakhs of Harinam every day? How is it possible? How do we reconcile this? Because what are they desiring while they are chanting? Krishna says, whatever you're thinking about, I will give you that. So you're approaching Krishna, Hare Krishna, but meditating on the object of your lust, Harinam Prabhu will power that. He said, whatever you want to put your faith in, I will make that strong. And also with Pratishta, Kanaka Kamani Pratishta, name, fame, adoration, power. If one has made Guru Aparad, Vaishnava Aparad, and then they're chanting Harinam, what is the result of that? The increase of Kanaka Kamani and Pratishta. So it can become very dangerous. That's why it is recommended that we should always be in the association of pure devotees who can diagnose our problem and cut it at the root. Why am I not progressing? I've been chanting 1.5 lakhs for 20 years. And look at me, fully absorbed in the clutches of illusion. What has happened? I'm independent. I'm not taking shelter of Sri Guru. I'm not taking shelter of pure Vaishnavas. And then I look at myself, why have I not progressed? By the power of Sri Guru and the Vaishnavas, they will cut at our anarthas from the root. They will pull those out. They will purify our heart in such a way that we will be able to chant Harinam purely. So Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur, he prays, Kabe have bo sedinayamar, aparada guchi shudhaname ruchi, kripalave hriday sanchar. When will that day be mine? When will that day come? When by the mercy of the pure Vaishnavas, when by the mercy of Sri Guru, aparadha guchi, my tendency to make offenses will be removed, will be rendered insignificant. And Shudhaname Ruchi, as a result of that, or as a result of their mercy, then Shudhaname Ruchi, real taste will come for chanting the holy name, for serving Harinam Prabhu. Shudha Name Ruchi, pure name. Kripa Bale Have, when will that day manifest in my life? When will it manifest in my heart? Hriday Sanchar. So this is a very important point, because we find, how is it possible? I've been doing this for so many lifetimes. Maybe thousands. Aho batasvapachatto gariyan, Srimad Bhagavatam says we should understand that by the time we have come to the process of bhakti, with faith in Krishna and Krishna's name, that Krishna is the only Supreme Lord, well, that makes us all Vaishnavas, apparently. That we have engaged in a minimum of 100 lifetimes of intense, hard endeavor. We've already gone to all holy places, put our heads in the dust of those places, bathed in all of the holy rivers. studied all shastras, done all tapasya, done all practices, went through every other path to finally come to this point. We have already done so much. And look at our condition. Hare Krishna. Check our pulse. On my own, ekaki amar, I have no strength. Nahi pai bal. Harinam sankirtane. To even chant the pure name of the Lord. O Vaisnava Thakur, O Gurudev, to me kripa kori, please give me your mercy. Shraddha, bindudiya, give me even just one drop of real faith. Deho Krishna Namadhani, give me the wealth of Krishna Nam. By your mercy, I will be able to take shelter of Krishna Nam. Gurudev would always warn us when we would do parikrama or anything, when we would go to Govardhan, when we would do anything, don't pray to Krishna for anything else. When any danger is coming, maybe then you say, Sri Narasimhadev Bhagavan Ki Jai, when any danger is coming. But in general, when we have any problem in our life, we should not chant Hare Krishna for eradicating these problems. We should chant Hare Krishna to please Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. O Radha, O Krishna, please engage me in your service. And have even the basic foundation of Shraddha, which is that Krishna is my protector and my maintainer. If we try to put our faith in everything else of this world, like Draupadi did, she asked Krishna, what took you so long to come when I was being disrobed? What took you so long? And Krishna said, what do you mean? I came as soon as you called me. She's like, what do you mean? He said, first you went to your husbands. They couldn't do anything. They were bound. Then you went to everyone in the entire courtroom. They couldn't do anything because Duryodhana was in charge. You were begging Dhritarashtra. You were begging everyone else. And finally, when you said, hey Krishna Rako Sharana Abdo Jivanahari, when you called me, I immediately came and I covered you and protected you. So if we have even the semblance of Shraddha, foundation, the basic foundation of bhakti, it's just the entrance, the doorway to bhakti, Shraddha. It is signified or symptomized by the process of surrender. Anukulyasya sankalpa, pratikulyasya varjanam, rakshishyati vishvaso. Krishna is my only protector. Goptatve varanam tata. Krishna is my only maintainer. And Gurudev would say, do not have any other desire. When you're doing Govardhan Parikrama, Giriraj Maharaj will be walking behind you, listening. What desire do you have? What do you want? Sarva Vishva Pradata, Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai. Everyone knows he fulfills all desires. Sarva Vishva Pradata. He fulfills all desires. He gives anything you want. Gurudev said 99% of the people, if you ask them why they're doing parikrama, why they're doing such hard austerities, it's for any mundane reason. I want money, I want a beautiful wife, I want a nice big house. People are making big mansions with Giriraj Shilas. Gurudev said, don't do it. He said they're building a prison for themselves. They're making a prison for themselves, desiring to have a 7-story mansion, so much wealth. Very rarely will you find that anyone is actually doing it for bhakti. So Gurudev warned us, when you're doing these parikramas or any activity in bhakti, don't do it for any other reason than Krishna bhakti. I only want to love and serve Krishna. And especially in what way? We should always have our exclusive goal at the top of our mind, at the top of our intelligence, at the top of our intention. What do you want? Shyama Sundar Shikanda Shekara, Smeraha Samurli Manohara, Radhikara Sikamam Kripanidhe Swapriya Charana Kinkarin Kuru. Oh Shyama Sundar Krishna, if you can give me anything, I only want one thing. Please, if you can give me anything, make me the dasi, the maidservant at the feet of your dear most beloved Srimati Radhika. Radhika padatale krtastiti tvam bhajami rasikendra shekara. That, I only want that, nothing else. Gurudev said we should always have our goal. The goal should be there. When the goal is there, then everything on the way to the goal automatically manifests. It is essential to have that goal. to know what I'm pointing toward, then automatically everything comes into play. If we don't have a goal, if one does not have a goal, in English there's a saying, if you don't stand for anything, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. If we don't have a goal, then very easily, our senses, our mind, everything can be distracted. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, even one sense which is left unchecked can fully drag away into illusion, even someone who is very dedicated. So we need to bring everything, focus it. Gurudev would tell us at the time of Harikatha, don't do anything else. Don't be anywhere else. He would actually say, come with me. Leave all of this behind. Come with me. We will now go to Vrindavan. We will be on the banks of Jamuna. Now we will bathe 3 times. And he would actually bathe us mentally. 1, 2, 3. And then he would say, give me all of your senses, everything, full focus. When I am giving Harikatha, give me all of your senses. He would want full absorption through the medium of all of our senses. And then he would manifest for us Sri Vrindavan. At that moment, we would look off to the distance. We were in Badger, California, but he called it New Braj. He said, Giriraj is here. Radha Kund, Shama Kund is there. Jamuna Devi is there. There was this Govardhan. He installed Govardhan, and there was a small Radha Kund, Shama Kund. There was a river nearby. He called it Jamuna. And then he would start speaking. At that moment, the sky would turn a very soft, purplish hue. Not every time, but most of the time. And then, gentle sprinkles would start falling. You can ask so many devotees, they've had the same experience. And then he would start speaking about the sweet pastimes of Krishna. And then off in the distance, you would hear the peacocks start to... They would start making their noise. And we'd be like, what just happened? He would completely transport us. He would bring us into his heart space. Wherever the pure devotee is, that is Vrindavan, at their feet. All of those mountains in that vicinity are known as Govardhan. Bhaktivedanta Thakur writes about this. The rivers are like Jamuna. The mountains are like Govardhan. Wherever that pure devotee is. Tamar hridaya sada Govinda Vishram. Govinda is always residing within the heart of the pure devotee. And he is not alone. Where he is, Srimati Radhika is. Where she is, all of the gopis are. All of Vrindavan is there. That means all of Krishna's transcendental associates, everything is present. Where the pure devotee is. He has Vrindavan in his heart. And wherever he goes, that place becomes known as Tirtha. So I don't know why I went there, but I was just remembering the effect that Gurudev would have on us. If we go, or he would just say, give me all of your senses, full absorption, and then he will take us and engage us in remembering the sweet pastimes of Krishna. Wow. So here, when Krishna chooses to show special mercy, now I know what I was saying. Gurudev said, don't think of anything else, be one-pointed, exclusive. Don't let any sense wander here and there. He even didn't like in the beginning when people were taking notes, because they would be looking down to write and they would not be receiving those sidelong glances, what he's giving through his eyes. Even more. Sometimes if you just hear it on a cassette or MP3 now, if you just hear it on an MP3, if it's streaming and you hear the lecture, you cannot see what he's saying. Sometimes when he was saying something, he would actually be making a reverse statement. And if you weren't paying attention, you would miss it. People would be making garlands or chanting japa or doing anything else, flipping through their phone and looking at whatever is going on, and they would miss those essential points. Sometimes Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, he would be speaking. Is it still going? Okay, good. He would be speaking, and then as the devotees were taking notes, he would say, did you catch that? And they said, yes. And he said, good. Otherwise, it would be lost to the world forever. How essential. How essential is it what Sri Guru is giving? So Gurudev wanted exclusive exclusivity. And he said we should be one-pointed when we are doing anything. All of the activities of bhakti, not desiring anything else, not asking for any material or mundane thing, not asking for material wealth, not asking for material sense gratification, not asking to be freed from the sufferings that we have, and not asking for name, fame, position, power, or anything else. All of these things will come to us as tests again and again and again, and we will have to pass these tests if we want to actually enter into Sri Vrindavan and serve and worship Sri Radha and Krishna. So we should hold these instructions from Srila Gurudev very, very dear. Don't have any other desire. Otherwise, when we're chanting, what will be the result? We will only be using Harinam in our service. Using Krishna to serve us. That is not pure bhakti, that is karma mishra bhakti. I'm taking Krishna and using in my service. This is not how it should be. Rather, we should become an instrument to be utilized exclusively in the service of Krishna. So coming back to this book, Going Beyond Vaikuntha, Srila Gurudev was telling that Vaman Dev, Vaman Avatar, this is a form of Krishna, Keshavadrita Vamana Rupa, manifested to Bali Maharaj and was more merciful to him because he took away everything from him. He took away all of his material opulence, everything. And what did he leave in its place? Bhakti. Bali Maharaj surrendered himself at the feet of Vamandev, at the feet of Krishna. Those feet are so wonderful, so beautiful, and so attractive that when he pierced the outer covering of the universe, the Garbhodak ocean came through and washed his feet and became known as something different, Ganga Devi. And that same Ganga Devi, who has washed the feet of Vishnu in the form of Vamandev, is being always taken on the head as Charana Amrit, on the head of Lord Shiva. That same foot was placed on the head of Bali Maharaj, who completely surrendered everything unto the Lord. So the Lord removed everything from him and left nothing else, no other option than for him to completely surrender. So Gurudev is saying that he actually gave a more special form of mercy to Bali Maharaj than he did to the demigods, because he actually protected them, allowed them to maintain their wealth, so they were not able to have pure bhakti. But for Bali Maharaj, he was able to fully give everything, Atma Nivedan, everything surrendered to the Lord. So the Lord gave him this opportunity for the deepest, fullest kind of, receiving the deepest, fullest kind of mercy. Okay. So yesterday we spoke about Indra and Indraman Vardhan, Govardhan Lila. Gurudev was saying that to the demigods, Bhagavan gives the responsibility of protecting the world, but the material world is temporary. He says, do this service for me, and gives them their posts. But some of them think, I have become the master of the three worlds. The Lord has given me this position, and now I am the master of the entire universe. They don't understand that this is actually an obstacle to bhakti. So we spoke about this yesterday. What is an obstacle to bhakti? This high birth due to karma and punya. High extreme wealth, high education, and bodily beauty. These four become a disqualification because they make one proud, egotistical. And of these four, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada explained that the most detrimental is excessive wealth, because through excessive wealth, one can purchase the services of the others. Even though one might be so disqualified, but through their wealth, they have power and they can purchase. So it makes one even more egotistical, more vain, more proud, and also it brings one to the capability of engaging in even more abominable and sinful activities. That's why Srila Gurudev said, generally in the West, people can be considered more lusty because they know that at any time through their wealth, day and night, they have the capacity to satisfy it. So the moment a desire comes in the mind or in the heart, then you can just purchase it on Amazon in a moment. With Amazon Prime, it will be there tomorrow. You can satisfy your desire. There's a 24-hour supermarket or all of these other kinds of shops, and one can satisfy their desire instantly. So when one has that capacity, then the lust very easily can be inflamed. When that opportunity does not present itself, then it's a little more difficult. Lust may come, but the idea that I will be able to fulfill it is less. And so you can let that go more easily, Srila Gurudev explained. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was explaining that excessive wealth is the worst of these four disqualifications. The worst of it. Because of the capacity to make one even the most egotistical, the most proud, and the most powerful. It is the extreme opposite of what one requires for actually taking shelter of Harinam, which is deep humility. And also, for what one requires to take shelter of Sri Guru. How many times have we seen those with excessive wealth endeavoring to control Gurudev? I will only give this money if you do this. Or, don't give Gurudev the money. Give it here, give it somewhere else. Gurudev's just going to misuse it. But if you give it over here, then it will be used in Vaishnava Seva. This idea is preposterous and it is aparad, offensive to Guru, to Sri Guru. It instills in the heart of those who want to develop nishta in their Gurudev, that my Gurudev doesn't know, that my Gurudev is bound by the four defects, Brahm, Pramada, Karana, Patava, Vipralipsa, that he can come under illusion, that he makes mistakes, that he has imperfect senses, and that he has the tendency to cheat others and be cheated, that he will misuse something which is meant for the service of Krishna, to even suggest such a thing, which has been suggested to me hundreds of times over the years. I meditated on this point over the last few years, and I realized what a great aparad it is to Gurudev. The duty of the disciple is to, in the name of Gurudev, move from place to place and share his message. And if some dan comes, donation, that does not belong to us, it belongs to Guru, in his name. So we hand that over to Gurudev. And that already belongs to Gurudev. And what he does with it is up to him. When you hand something to someone, this is yours, and even before that, but when you hand it over, you have no right over it. I realized my Gurudev, if he wanted, could light it on fire in front of me, and I would have no right to say anything, because it's his. Right? So this is the position of a disciple. When we try to... I remember this one katha Srila Gurudev would tell about Param Gurudev, Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj. And two Vaishnavas had gone out and collected. One came and immediately gave his donation to Param Gurudev Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj. The other one didn't give it. And so he asked, where is he? Why didn't he give it? And he came forward, and Param Gurudev said, why didn't you give me the donation? You should give it to me. And he said, because I need it, and if I gave it to you, you would just give it back. So why should I, make this interaction? It would be unnecessary, a redundancy. And Param Gurudev said, no. You are collecting the karma of so many persons, and you do not have the power or potency on your own to purify that karma. if you take that money and utilize it for yourself, you won't be able to digest the karmic influence of that money. So at least you should give it to me. I will purify it and clean it, and then I will give it back. What a powerful lesson. This is in the book Acharya Kishori, the life and teachings of Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. So the principle for us is we should hand that over to Gurudev. And we should have the understanding that Gurudev is the perfect servant of Krishna. Kintu prabhurya priya eva tasya. Although he is Sakshat Hari, not different from the Lord in one way, still he is not Vishai Bhagavan, he is Ashray Bhagavan, Supreme Personality of Servitor Godhead, and therefore everything he does is exclusively for the pleasure and service of the Lord. So we give that to Gurudev, and then Gurudev does what he sees fit with it. And we should have faith that every particle of the being of our Gurudev is exclusively dedicated to the service of his Ishtadev, Radha Krishna, Jugal. Jai Jai Radha Krishna Jugal Milan. Every particle of his being is exclusively dedicated. So what he does and how he does, and like this, we should have this understanding. Not that someone will try to jump in and say, no, you should give it to me instead. Don't give it to Gurudev. Don't give it to him. He'll just misuse it and put it in the wrong people's hands. So many of us have heard this over the years, and I realized I actually made aparad to Gurudev in those early years by having this mindset, and I changed it. No, it is my duty as his disciple, as his representative, to give to him what comes into my hands. And what he does with it, that is up to him. Then he told us, in front of other devotees, I don't think I've ever told this story before. I've told many. So we were there and we came to give him a donation. And Gurudev was so concerned. He said to us, how will you maintain? You don't need to give me anything. How will you be able to maintain? You've already given me everything, yourselves. You're already engaging yourself in service. You don't need to give me anything. He was concerned how we would maintain. And then he looked at the devotee next to us and he said, you should give me everything. And then Gurudev didn't accept what we wanted to give. Maybe he did, but anyway, he said, because we kind of tried to force it on him. And then he gave us in reciprocation something very sweet. Mathura Pera. So he gave us some sweets. Srila Prabhupada's favorites. But I just wanted to share that. So now, we don't have much time left. But these points are very, very important. So, because here Gurudev is talking about Indra, that he became egotistical by all of this power. But Bali Maharaj, he took away everything else. So Indra actually tried to destroy all of Vrindavan, and Krishna taught him a very great lesson, lifting Giriraj on the nail of his little finger of his left hand for 7 days and 7 nights, showing Indra, as Srila Prabhupada said, that defeating you is simply the business of my little finger, Srila Prabhupada said. So many people do not understand that the way that Vamandev approached Bali Maharaj was actually a special activity of mercy he gave. Assuming an incarnation in this world and performing such beautiful pastimes is something Narayan will not do. The four-armed form that is present there in heaven will not do this. Narayan will never cheat as Vaman did. He will also bestow praying, but he won't allow himself to be viewed as a cheater. So Narayan can manifest as Vamandev, but he himself, in the form of Narayan, will not manifest himself as a cheater. He will bestow praying, but he does not manifest here like those avatars. Vaman cheated in the vision of ordinary people. He begged for 3 steps of land, then made his steps very, very large and stole everything. Vaman will perform such variegated pastimes and may even be seen as a cheater. But Narayan will never do this. So in this way, in the pastimes of Ram and other incarnations of Bhagavan, there is uniqueness, there is speciality. When he is manifesting in these forms, then we see so many beautiful pastimes and leelas. He will manifest as a cheater. He will manifest as Ram, and he will weep in separation from his wife and perform so many amazing pastimes. In Tattva, Ram, Narayan, Vaman, all are one. But in his pastimes, his special affectionate dealings with his devotees and his rasa, there will be some differences. In the scriptures, it says that there is a final dissolution when the 250-year segments of Brahma's life have passed. Along with Brahma, the nature will merge into Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So after the end of Brahma's life, it is said that the universe expands from the pore of Mahavishnu. It manifests out from the breathing of Mahavishnu and expands for the half-life of Brahma, 50 years. And then it comes to its point. Just like throwing a ball up into the air, it achieves its point, and then suddenly it comes back, right? At a certain point, gravity will manifest its effects. So it will come to its final point, and then, in the same way, the first half, the first 50 years of Brahma, it's going one way, and then it comes back. At that point, it begins to, again, compress and condense, and then everything begins to compress and condense. So Brahma first enters into, and nature will merge into Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Brahma is within the material universe. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is also within the universe. Will merge into the body of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. All nature, everything. Within this world, everything will merge into the body of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Then he will also disappear, and all will merge into Karanadakshaya Vishnu. So many jivas will merge into the limbs of Vishnu at that time, and those that are liberated will go to Vaikuntha with Brahma. So those that are liberated will go to Vaikuntha. Narada Muni said he actually entered into the form of Mahavishnu for the entire duration of the in-breath, and then when he breathed back out, I came as Narada Muni, like this. From his previous life as a Sutaputra to Narada Muni. But here Gurudeva is saying that those that are liberated will go to Vaikuntha with Brahma. The others will go inside Mahavishnu, Karanadakshaya Vishnu, and it will again become embodied and return to this chakra. Chakra means this samsara, or cycle of Maya. At that time, Mahamina, the fish incarnation, is to be seen. So the first incarnation we hear, Keshavadrita Matsya Sharira, Meena Sharira, the fish incarnation. Because this whole pastime will be told by Gurudev now, and we only have a couple minutes left, I think it would be best that we stop here, and then tomorrow we will speak on Bhaktivedanta Thakur and Gadadhar Pandit. Bhaktivedanta Thakur is known as Gaura Shakti Swarup, or the manifestation, or the form, or the nature of Gadadhar Pandit. So tomorrow we will remember them, their pastimes, their glories, and actually there's not enough time in one day to really glorify them. And then again, we will, after that will be, I think, Swarup Damodar Goswami, Rathayatra, so many auspicious and important days will be coming up, and then we will continue with the glories of Meena or Matsyaru, the fish incarnation, and the history of that beautiful, sweet pastime of the Lord. So many important subjects were discussed today, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to remember all of them. So going beyond Vaikuntha ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Sanatan Goswamipada ki jai, Shri Gopkumar ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Shri Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. tomorrow when that eclipse happens, I'm just reminding you, then we should all try to be doing kirtan the entire time. Even if it's just yourself alone, or with even one person, no harm, no worries. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Gora Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Gora Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Thank you very much for being with us today and giving me this opportunity to remember so many beautiful instructions and teachings of our Srila Gurudeva and our Guru Varga, and for engaging us in our Guru Seva. Even though we can't be physically traveling everywhere, still Srila Gurudev ordered us that even when I'm no longer on this sphere, I want that you continue traveling and preaching my mission everywhere, nourishing the spiritual lives of my children. So, because of you, we are able to engage in this seva, and for that we are indebted to all of you. We look forward to being with you all tomorrow. And remember, today and tomorrow is an auspicious holy day. Take more shelter in Sri Harinam, especially during this solar eclipse. And we will see you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe.